Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. It is that time of day. I am here, ready to cook, and we're honoured. We've got guests today. So we've got Jen from the Trepenna Cheese Company, isn't it?
Trepenna, yes.
And Mark behind the camera, your husband?
Husband?
Yes?
Yeah.
So husband and wife cheese company. Now, full transparency, me and Emily have tried this cheese, and that's why we're bringing it to you, because it's good. Okay? Amazing cheese, so well done.
Thank you very much, honoured to be here.
Lovely to have amazing products on our doorstep being made. It is brilliant, that's why I moved up here. I've just come back from a weekend away with my family and I took some of your cheese. It was very well received on our table. So thank you for that. But we thought we'd get them in, have a chat and do some cooking. I've got 2 cheese themed recipes for you. Cheese, one of my favourite products in the world. It's up there with Marmite, cheese, bread, chocolate, coffee, beer. They're my food groups. I need to try and hit them every day. 6 a day.
You're right.
Right, so first recipe. We'll get on cooking and then we'll start chatting. So I dived deep into the rabbit warren of YouTube the other day and I found a recipe and I brought it into the kitchen. I've tested it out on Emily. She thought it was weird. It was going to be bizarre, but it turned out all right, didn't it? It did. We haven't got her on a microphone today because Jen's got it. So we need nice, loud Emily today. She's just waiting for cheese. Okay, so let's get started. Now, as I said, it was a bit of a deep dive into YouTube, if you know what I mean.
I am intrigued.
So we're going to make a cheese potato pie, but not bake it. We're going to cook it in a frying pan. We might finish it in the oven, it depends, because we're going to make something else as well. But it starts with bread flour, because we want high gluten, because it's going to be freestanding, okay? So I've got 80 grams, so this will make 1 pie.
Okay.
80 grams. Emily's keeping me right, because I've got a guest I have to cook over here. So I can't go random. So 80 grams of strong bread flour, a little bit of salt to make sure it's got that sort of savoury flavour. Onion granules, remember these?
Yeah,
old
have
fashioned.
some in the cupboard.
Have they been there a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're the same. Onion. So in terms of getting that nice savoury flavour into your pastry or your bread, it's really, really good. I mean, if you just have it just oozes savoury, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So a little bit of onion powder, and then I've got melted butter. That's going in. You could use olive oil. You could use rapeseed oil because it's got a very sort of similar kind of buttery flavour to it. But we like butter. You make butter as well, don't you?
We do make butter, yeah.
And in terms of what you make most of, what do you make most of?
So probably the cheddar. We started with the cheddar. That's our
Isn't it
big
like
seller.
95% of all
Yes.
cheese consumption in the UK is cheddar?
Everyone loves the cheddar, and yeah, it's kind of what we started making.
Yeah.
And then we've branched out into soft cheese as well. So we make a white moulded brie.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to make something with that.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. You're going to like it. So I've just poured in some milk and then literally mix it together to a dough.
Okay.
So it's really, really simple. Should we like simple, don't we, Emily?
Yep.
Made a career out of it. Okay, so that's it. Very, very simple. And because it's bread flour, it's a lot stretchier. So don't think pastry. It's not a pastry. It's more like a bread dough. Could you just pass me that flour?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then we're just going to give it a little knead just to develop the gluten a bit more, okay, before we rest it in the fridge. I have got some that I've made earlier, so we can crack on and keep this recipe moving. So, that will do. Tiny little bit of flour, but if you have a feel of that, that's kind of what it should feel like. And I think when you're baking, the tactile sort of approach is really, really important. Because I could say to you, you know, we have viewers from all over the world, and, you know, somebody might be sat there in Australia in the burning desert going, hang on, Pete, I need to put more in there because the flour will be warmer, it will absorb more liquid, and it needs to be sort of that nice, soft, pliable texture. On the other hand, we may well have somebody sat there watching in Alaska who lives in a fridge almost, and they will absorb much less liquid because the flour will contract. So it's very much about making sure that your flour is, your dough, sorry, is a certain texture. Could we go close into that, Emily? Yeah. And if you press it, that's kind of, you want it to be a sort of spring back. You shouldn't stick to it. That's now ready for a 10 to 15 minute rest in the fridge. Let's pop that over there. Okay, so this dough has rested. Now feel the difference.
Oh,
it's cold,
yeah,
it's contracted. The butter's firmed up a little bit in the fridge, but it's ready. And look how stretchy it is now. That's because we've used bread flour. So all we're doing is trying to create something that will encase and hold all your lovely cheese in, okay? Yeah. So, get rolling pin. So tell me, why cheese?
So we have been on a bit of a journey on the farm. We've been running the farm for 10 years. We've made a lot of changes with the cows and the milk that we were producing. We just felt it's organic, it's high in butter fats and proteins, and we felt that we wanted to add some value to it and sell it as an end product ourselves.
Yeah.
So we...
what were you doing before with the milk?
So it was going to a processor.
So it was going into a cooperative?
Into a big tank, yeah.
And coming out in the supermarket milk?
Yes.
Yeah.
And our lovely, rich, organic milk wasn't getting an organic price, and we just we felt we wanted to do something ourselves.
Right.
So yeah, we...
So you went on a deep dive on YouTube too, didn't you?
We
and
sure
you came
did.
out with cheese.
We ended up in the Northwest Highlands, didn't we?
Yeah, so a lovely lady called Kathy Biss came, and we did a few days on the farm with her, and that kind of got us thinking how lovely a product we could make from our milk.
It is a beautiful product, so you've done that.
Yeah, we just went for it. So we converted an old barn into a cheese make area, got some equipment, and it all started from then in 2019. Right. Just me and Mark making some cheese.
What was your first block of cheese like?
Was
it a stinker? Or was it all right?
It was actually amazing.
It was surprisingly good, that's why we carried on.
I like it.
I think whether it was luck, we just made it, put it in the store, and then got it out in sort of, February, March time. And it tasted good. It was really creamy, buttery flavours. I mean, it was obviously quite young then. Yeah. But
So how old is that cheddar there?
So that one is 6-7 months. So our cheddar is designed to kind of be ready to eat in 5 months.
Right.
We can make tweaks to the recipe for a longer maturing cheddar, but because we're small and we were starting out, we wanted a sort of a quite quickly maturing cheese.
Okay.
And it changes throughout the year as well.
Of course,
The milk changes.
Depending on the grass that the cows are eating.
They're eating, yeah.
So how many cows do you have?
We have 130 milking cows at the moment, and then lots of like the young stock on the farm as well. But yeah, that's when we became organic. We reduced cow numbers, so there's no pressure on the cows or the farm. A small number, and that gives us enough to process, and then we sell a little bit extra to the dairy as well.
Yeah. So I've rolled out the pastry. Okay. So it's nice and easy to move around. That's because we've chilled it. Okay. When you chill the pastry, the flour, the gluten and everything just retracts. So it's stretched out and it's like that, and then it just eases back as you let it go. So I've rolled it out, which has stretched it out again. And now it's just easing back, it's relaxing, it's getting ready. And the key to working with pastries and flours and breads is when you've done something to it, let it rest. So when you roll out short crust pastry, let it rest so it can squeeze back before you do anything to it. Between every action on pastry, rest it, and you will get a lovely pastry that doesn't shrink back. It's nice and buttery and crisp, and it'll be perfect. So we'll let that just sit there for a second. I've got a baked potato. This is the only way to cook potatoes for mash for me. Always mashed potato starts with baked potatoes, because if you put potatoes in water, you're diluting all the flavour, you're losing all the starch, all that sort of stuff. Whereas if you bake a potato, it smells really potatoey, and it's light and it's fluffy and it's got all the flavour. And if I break this open, it's dry and floury, yeah, which is what we want. We don't want wet, sludgy, starchy mashed potato. Okay? So, I'm just going to quickly squash the potato up. Okay, so we've got a mashed potato, all right? Now, remember, if you want the recipe for this, scan the QR code along the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co. All our recipes are there. We are on something like episode 70-something. I've now lost count. So there are loads of recipes there for you. We've got loads more episodes to come as well. So please make sure you like Masterclass UK's Facebook page and share it with your friends so everyone else gets to experience these lovely recipes. So, mayonnaise. I know, a bit weird, isn't it? I told you it was a weird one. But it gives a richness to it. Okay? So 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. In we go. Getting a bit weird now, isn't it, Emily? Yes. Mayonnaise and mashed potato. Nigella seeds. Do you use these much?
Not really, no.
Got a really savoury smell to them. They work really well with cheese. And they were cut through. We did this yesterday, didn't we, and ate it. Yeah. And you could just, the Nigella seeds just came right through on it. It was a really great addition to it. Okay, so now, star of the show, your cheese. Okay, so I think we should taste it first.
I think
just
we
to
should.
check it's okay. All right. So I'm going to cut this bit. This bit scares my wife and children.
Okay, so yeah, we wrap.
And I'm like, it's fine.
So we wrap the cheeses in bandages.
Yeah.
And then they go into the store, and then this obviously doesn't have the bandage on. It's formed
I'll let you
a natural rind.
You're the connoisseur. You'll know how it is, Emily. I know. I won't leave you out. Don't worry. I've left it out a little bit as well to get the flavour going.
It's a good one.
We're good?
Yeah. Lots of buttery, creamy flavours.
Now,
Long-lasting.
if anyone wants to buy your cheese, where's the best place? And bearing in mind, we have people all over the world watching these days, so...
Yeah, so we have an online...
Don't ask them to knock on your door at the farm.
Well, we have a small shop on the farm, but we have an online shop, so our website.
Okay, so what is the website?
trepennaorganic.co.uk.
Right.
Spelt Torpenhow.
What is this all about? What is Trepenna and Torpenhow all about?
The village that we farm in is called Trepenna to the locals, but it is spelt Torpenhow.
Yeah.
And no one really knows.
Nobody knows why
it got shortened to Trepenna, but
so there's no logical reason.
Cumbrian reason. So the village is named. So Tor, Pen, and How are all names for hill.
Oh, are they?
3 different settlers would have come along.
So you would think Emily, being a Cumbrian, would know all this. She's the only Cumbrian here. Are you Cumbrian?
I'm Cumbrian.
You
I'm Trepenna, born and bred.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 of you. You're probably related. You dig deep enough, they are. It's only me and you that are diluting it, you know. Right, so I've mixed in your cheese. Okay. Now. Thank you. Try my best. Try to keep you happy. Okay, in with the cheese.
I love this.
And then we're just going to flatten this out. Is this kind of thing you... Yeah. I'm going to get the pan on as well.
Happy.
Okay. I think this is a great recipe. You know when you buy like loads of cheese for the weekend, you have an amazing cheese board, you always end up with little bits of everything. These recipes that we've created, and we're going to also do another episode later on, are perfect for using up. This cheese for me is an eating cheese. Buy a chunk of it, put it on a chopping board with some others and enjoy it. And then when you get to sort of this stage, this is when you start to cook with, this is when I start to cook with these sort of cheeses and things like that, is just use it all up and bring it all together with some lovely recipes. And by making this dough, it just kind of wraps itself around all these lovely flavours. So what we're going to do now is draw it up. Okay, so you draw it up like a little money bag. And you're going to scrimp it all up into the middle. And we want everything so it'll stretch. This is why we've used bread flour and not standard flour. Press it down. Okay, we'll get some flour. Little bits of flour, you don't need loads. Okay, and now, smack bang in the centre of this pastry, we've got all that lovely cheese, we've got potato, we've got Nigella seeds, and a little bit of mayonnaise, which will give it a rich creaminess. This cheese is going to love being in the centre of that.
It is.
Okay, but when we made this yesterday and tested it out, it was like all of a sudden it was like, oh, you could put this in it, you could put that in it, you could go like this, you could put pizza inside there, you know, cheese, tomato, mozzarella, salami, all sorts of stuff. You could even take some leftover curry, shred it all up with some mango chutney, put that in, it'll be amazing. The possibilities are endless. It's a fridge clearer. You can clear the fridge. So, yeah, that'll do. It's about right. So now you can see it's about 1 centimetre thick, okay? And I think you could probably freeze these like this.
Okay.
Get them out and then cook them. No problem. Now you could bake this in the oven, absolutely no problem at all. But we're going to cook it in the pan so that you can see everything going nice and golden. So, let me just grab tiny little bit of butter. Hot non-stick pan. Now I'm using a crep pan because I can see everything going on. You could use a frying pan, absolutely no problem at all. Okay, let's whack the oven on because I'm going to pop it into the oven and let it cook while we do some other things. Now, if you've any questions at all, please do post them in the comments below. I am here to help you, whether it's to do with the kitchen, whether it's to do with the cheese or the recipes, whatever that might be. Please do post them in there and I will be all over it like a rash for you. Now, straight into the pan. Perfect fit. And give it a little shake because we want to know that it's not going to stick. All right? Can you see that all right, Emily? Are you happy with your camera angles? Yeah. Am I behaving? Well. Good. Right, so we'll have a little tidy up. Now, we tasted this, as I said yesterday, and it was like, right, it needs something because it's super rich and delicious in there. And it's all good. But it, like, we were like, oh yeah, it just needs something. So I thought we would pickle some red onions in lime juice. Cheese, onion, what's not to love, okay? Yeah. But the acidity will cut the richness beautifully, and your cheese is rich and creamy, isn't it? Yeah. But because of the milk you use. So I'm just going to show you a very quick way to do that. So if I just grab my chopping board, and while I'm doing that, I would love to know how you actually make cheese, all right? Because I have made cheese before, but only ricotta. Okay. So like young, fresh cheese, it's ready in an hour kind of cheese. Whereas your cheese, you make it, put it away for 6 months, and cross your fingers. And hope.
Well, there is a bit of looking after it in the store as well, which we've learnt over the years.
Okay, right, just get my onion and I'll start slicing.
With making cheese, you're essentially trying to recreate what's happening in a calf's stomach, which maybe doesn't sound very appetizing. But you want to add the cultures, the rennet, and it's about getting it to the right temperature,
right?
And just letting those cultures do their magic,
right?
So you're basically
so you warm milk, don't you?
Yeah, we warm the milk up.
That's
so
what
we
it
actually
starts with,
pasteurize our milk as well.
Right.
So our first step is pasteurization, and then it goes into a vat where we add the cultures, which are going to give it the flavor, and that's going to convert the lactose in the milk into the lactic acid. So,
right.
We're wanting to get the right cultures growing basically in the milk.
That's not the rennet bit then, is it?
No.
Right.
So
See, I didn't know about the cultures.
Yeah, we add the cultures first and let them, sort of.
And is that something you add and then take out and sort of keep it going? Or?
No, we add it each time.
Right. Okay.
And then then you add the rennet and leave that to set.
And that's where the curd and the whey separate, isn't it?
So that's where the curds are formed, and then we cut it. So that will separate the curds and the whey. Then we drain the whey off, and with the whey we actually feed it back to our calves. So we'll drain that off the table, and it will go back in fed to any young stock we have.
Okay.
Or pigs if we have pigs. So then you're sort of entering the cheddaring stage of the cheese. So the curds will all then start to knit together. It's amazing to watch because it's kind of doing it in front of your very eyes.
Right.
They're just, the curds knit all back together.
Excuse me, 1 second. Hold that
That's
thought.
okay.
Right, time to flip.
Good.
There we go. So you can see it's just toasting up. It's absorbed some of the butter, just crisping up, so it is like super easy. This would be good camping stuff, this.
It would.
You know, if you're out camping, you want to cook something delicious, this would be a good one for you. So I've sliced the red onions, and now you can pickle in I'm pickling lime juice because I just think that fruity zing works so well. Whereas some people will pickle in vinegar, which is absolutely fine. Red wine vinegar is delicious with it. Cider vinegar, white wine vinegar. That acidity just takes the harshness and the edge off the raw red onion. But I'm a massive fan with lime because it's really good, isn't it? Yeah. We do it a lot. Works really well. And once you've got the lime juice in there, squeeze it into the red onions. Okay? And this isn't a long pickle. This is a short pickle, so they'll be ready in like 5 minutes. But this isn't going to keep forever. This will keep for a week in the fridge. So, by sheer nature of it, it takes a couple of minutes to do. So you don't need to do loads of it. But if you were pickling these for a long time, you want to put them into a pan with vinegar, bring them up to the boil, switch it off, pour them into a jar, put the lid down, and then you'll have them for ages. But like I say, this is a really quick, raw red onion and lime pickle, just to contrast with our lovely cheese pie. So sorry to interrupt.
That's fine.
We were talking curds, weren't we?
We're talking curds, so yeah. So then you're essentially wanting to get all the whey out of the curd.
Yeah.
So that it will go into a store and mature. You don't want the whey still to be in there. So yeah, it's a process of chopping, stacking, and then we cut it back up into small pieces. Right. Salt it for the flavour. Yeah. And then we press it. So we make big 12-kilo rounds, and they go into a press overnight to get any excess whey that's in it. So you've really got to push all that moisture out, and then it's the aging process. Yeah. So the process from start to finish is sort of 6 hours, a sort of 6-hour make. And how often do you make cheese? So we make it pretty much Monday to Friday. Yeah. Some days we'll do 2 makes of cheese, makes of cheddar, and a brie make as well. Right. And how do you make that differently? So it's slight... Different enzymes? So we'll introduce a white mould culture, and it's a much gentler process. So we don't. And how old is that cheese? So that's about 3 weeks. So it's ready to eat in 2 weeks. Yeah. This actual one here has had extra cream put back into it. Right. Which was a trial, which really worked. So I think we'll be doing it again. Nice. So yeah. First time taster for this one. Yeah. So is it? Oh right, brilliant. Okay, well we'll get to that one. We'll get to that for sure. Okay, so you can see here. Should I put it on here, Emily? Is that all right? Does that make you happy? Yeah. So it's toasted there, and because of the gluten, it's held. It's not split. So please, if you're going to make this, it's so important to use bread making flour or strong protein flour. Okay. And that way it will hold together. But if you don't, it will split and the filling will escape. But there you go, it's cooked. All right? Ready to try it? Yes.
So like your cheese, we only tried this recipe yesterday. And we nailed it first time, didn't we? So
The cheese.
yeah. So all we do is we cut it. Now I think if you can wait, don't worry, Mark, we're not going to wait. It's all right. If you can wait, because it will be really hot in the middle, but for the sake of television, we're not going to wait. This is a really good kind of Sunday evening. Kids have gone to bed. Sofa, glass of wine, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to take a few of these and just sit them on top there so that you can have a proper good taste of it. Oh, everyone's ready.
It's so pretty.
Well, these are a game changer. Once you've tried these, you'll want them.
You almost force the lime juice into it.
You do. Once you've squeezed the lime in to speed it up, bruise them a bit and push it in, and then the onions just give out and let the lime juice in, and then you've just got this fruity, tangy, oniony flavour, and it just works so well. Right, let me grab you a plate. Just left, there we go. There's one for you to try. I will get you a knife and fork if you need it, but if you're all right. Mark's off camera, so he's just going to inhale it. That's all right. Emily's off camera, so she's all right. There's only me and you that have got to try and not.
Oh, it's good.
There you go, Emily. Mark's is nearly gone, so we're just going to put another one down there. There you go.
Oh, wow, that onion is so good with it.
So, as I said before, if you want the recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom. It will take you straight to masterclass.co. You will get the recipe here. We will also put links to the guy's website where you can buy the cheese and have it delivered to your door if you want. Or, if you are up in the Lake District, on your holidays this summer, all the farm shops around the area and things like that?
Lots of local village shops. Cranston's sell it.
Right.
Lots of local butchers. Harrison's Butchers.
So T-Bay on the M6 service station, the amazing farm shop, you can get it there. Cranston's at Penrith. If you're pulling off the M6 to go to the Lake District, the amazing Cumbrian supermarket, you can get it there. And then lots of farm shops in and around Keswick, isn't it? And
Keswick Cheese
West.
Deli.
Yeah, Cockermouth Butchers and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's loads of places where you can get your hands on it. So thank you very much. We're going to crack on with the next recipe. So our first recipe done, we are now on to the main course, mac and cheese. Do you like a mac and cheese?
We do eat a fair bit of mac and cheese.
There's a theme,
very
isn't
popular.
there? Cheese, isn't it?
But yeah, probably slightly different to what you're going to do today.
When we met up and I said, look, you've got to come on the show if you can, if you've got time. I know you're busy farmers, you know, farms never stop, do they? It's not like you can shut the door and close up shop and go home, is it?
Cows need milking.
So thank you firstly for coming and spending the time with us. It's great. I wanted to create dishes using your cheese, but I wanted to kind of show you how I would up the ante if I can and make the everyday a bit more amazing if possible. And hopefully that's kind of what we do, isn't it, with our recipes? Sometimes it's just taking the everyday recipe and how do we make it better? And with my ideas, Masterclass equipment, it kind of helps make cooking easy. So we're going to do mac and cheese. It's kind of the ultimate comfort food, isn't it? We're going to add some spring onions to it. And Emily wants me to get the chopping done first so that we can move the cameras on. So 2 little bowls, pop them down there. Get our spring onions. I'm just going to get rid of those bits. Now I always use all of the spring onion. So I use the white and the green. So we're just going to bundle them together and we're just going to chop. So everybody asks me what knives we use, okay? They're called Edge Keeper knives from Masterclass. And the great thing about them is this is the 20cm cook's knife, okay? And they all come with a sheath on the knife, and I'll show you in a second, which sharpens them every time you put the knife in and every time you take it out. So a sharp knife is a safe knife because chopping it is effortless. So this little red bit here, do you see that? That is a sharpening. It's got two little teeth in there. So every time I put that in there, it sharpens it. Every time I take it out, sharpens it. Here? So in, sharpen, out, sharpen. And because they're set at a particular angle, it never changes. So it doesn't matter if I do that, it sharpens it. If you put it in, took it out, it sharpens it. Whereas if you've got a steel at home, the traditional way of sharpening knives, everyone has a different angle on how they sharpen. So you might sharpen it, and then you might sharpen it, and you've just blunted it because of what you've, and vice versa. Whereas, so for a family, absolutely get edge keeper knives because they will keep sharp, and then when you chop, it is effortless. Okay? So, all my spring onions into a bowl, ready to cook. We don't want to cook these. We're just going to warm them through. They're going to go straight in with the pasta so that you get a nice sort of fresh. I don't want to kill the taste of the cheese. The cheese is the star of the show. And the pasta and the sauce is going to deliver that. So spring onions or scallions or green onions, depending on where you're from. Because I get caught on that many a time. It's like, what's a spring onion? One of them little green things. It's not a spring onion in America. It's a green onion. Cheese, right. So let's grate the rest of this cheddar. So we're going to do two different cheeses. I'm going to use your cheddar, and I'm also going to use the, what do you call this one?
We call this our Bincy Red. So Bincy is the Wainwright that we can see from the farm.
Yeah, I was going to say I've taken the kids up there, and my wife actually takes them on school trips up there.
Yes, a nice small.
It's a lovely little knife. You've done it as well, haven't you, Emily? Bincy? Or Bincy? Do you?
Yeah, Bincy.
I think you've been up it before. I think you've told me you have.
Really good views from Bincy.
Yeah, take it. I've just told everyone you're this amazing fell walker. You do. You go through phases, don't you? And you go up mountains. So in with the cheese, and then we'll have to have a little taste of this one as well. I don't think you've tried this one yet, have you? No.
So yeah, sort of we're aiming for a slightly different texture and maybe a little bit more nuttiness to it.
Okay.
So, use some different cultures.
Right. And do you do a lot of experimentation then with your cheeses?
Yeah. Sometimes not planned.
No.
Every day is different.
Sometimes the best results come from absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There's so many stories about eaten mess as a recipe. Drop the pavlova on the floor, it now becomes eaten mess.
Yeah.
There's so many different recipes that have come from mistakes. Different texture as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, this is a younger one. Yeah. Still quite mild, creamy again.
You say it's quite mild though. I actually think your cheeses are quite mature in flavour. I was surprised when you said the cheddar was only like 5-6 months old. Because if you have a supermarket cheddar that's only 5-6 months old, it's like rubber. Tastes of nothing. I would have expected. I thought you were going to tell me it's at least a year.
No.
Year old.
They do. They take on all the flavours. The store is full of lots of moulded cheeses. So they take on the flavours from the stores.
Right. Okay. So I want to use a mixture of the two cheeses because I think I'm going to get amazing flavour and colour by using those. Right, I've got macaroni cooking in salted boiling water. Now, I was always taught, cook your pasta in water that is as salty as the sea. Okay, and the flavour just comes through so much more, and you don't end up putting loads of salt in your cooking. Okay, so 9 minutes. Now, it is really important. You look at pasta. In the UK, we are notoriously rubbish at cooking pasta. We overcook it all the time. 9 minutes is almost undercooked because let's not forget, once it's mixed in this lovely cheese sauce, it's then going in here and cooking again. So 9 minutes, please trust me, it is the right length of time so that you don't end up eating a spoonful of stodge, all right? 9 minutes, then drain it, okay? Right. I'm off my soapbox, my pasta soapbox. Let's make a cheese sauce like you've not had before, okay? So, in with my butter. Equal amounts of butter to flour. So we're going to make a bechamel sauce. Do you remember back at school? Did you learn how to make this at school?
No. Well, yeah, I think my mum taught me how to make
Did
this,
she?
yeah.
I remember learning how to make a white sauce at college. When I went to catering college, it was probably our first lesson. We would make a roux, which is flour and butter together, and then we would take that roux and turn it into a white bechamel sauce and a brown sauce and a velouté and so on and so forth. What most people get wrong is they don't cook the flour out. They just chuck it all in and then whack the milk in. But we're not using milk today for our white sauce. We've got something better. Beer.
Oh, good.
So we thought mac and cheese, blend it together with cheese on toast, rarebit. All good things. So if you take the rarebit, it's full of beer and it's, you know, it's all good. So we thought we'll get rid of the milk because you've used it all in the cheese. So we'll go for milk. We'll go for beer. There's a lot of people actually say that beer and cheese go really well together.
Yeah, we agree definitely.
Right.
The cheddar and beer.
I'm just going to strain my pasta before it goes past my 9 minutes after I've just ranted at everyone to do what I say. So 9 minutes. There we go. So we use a Smart Space measuring jugs, and they just lift up like that. So they work really well. Is it in your way? Sorry, Emily. So you've got to cook it out now. So it's important that you just get it on a slightly medium heat. So I was going to go a dark beer, and then I decided that the dark beer is going to mess about with the cheese a bit, really. So I've gone for a very famous golden ale. Ooh. That really wants to join the party. That was a loud pop, wasn't it? Lowe's Gold. Have you had a few in your time, Mark?
One or two, yeah.
Yes, me too. This is where my dad cries when I put alcohol into food. He weeps a little bit. I always remember one Christmas I went round, and for some reason my mum always asked me to make the gravy. She doesn't make gravy. Yeah, no problem. So I went and I thought, right, I think it was roast lamb. I'll go and get some port, a nice port sauce for dinner. And I went and got my dad's port, and I poured the whole bottle into the saucepan. And I think I watched him cry. I was like, in it goes. I think I was working in like Michelin star restaurants in those days. And it was just like, yeah, bottle of wine in there, bottle of port, you know, no problem. Just pop it in. And in it went. And oh, it was good sauce, but I don't think my dad quite forgave me for it. So it's important that you add the beer a little at a time. And just keep stirring. Keep going. Okay? So we're using the cast aluminium 4.5 litre Masterclass pan. This is Hunter Green, is it, Emily? This colour? Yep. One of the new colours. I use the 4.5 litre shallow pan for everything. And we're actually going to bake the mac and cheese in this. Saves on washing up. And it works perfectly because it's got a nice shallow surface area. It means it'll brown off. Lovely. So as it starts to boil, it's really important you keep it moving. Okay? And get it stirred together into one consistency, and then we can add a little bit more beer. Unfortunately, I think we're going to add it all. Yeah, so that's a shame. Yeah, it's all gone in. Lowe's Gold, lovely beer, very popular. Right. This is similar to how you make a mac and cheese at home?
Never put a bottle of beer in a mac and cheese, no.
Only the cook. So do you, obviously husband and wife, do you sort of share particular roles in the farm and the cheese making process, or do you just, whoever gets up first gets to do the good jobs?
Jen's a bit more precise than I am.
Right.
Cheese making is definitely her realm.
Do you know what you need to say?
Everything.
I am a more tactile person. More instinctive, more tactile.
I'm taking notes here.
Not disciplined.
No, we do everything though. We both farm and we both have a lot of input in the cheese as well.
Yeah.
We made a ton of cheese during lockdown.
So there was just, us there.
One
Yeah.
ton of cheese.
Literally a ton.
Literally
Literally a ton.
It's
So
filled.
that's where we made our mistakes and
Right.
developed our recipes. And,
Isn't it funny how lockdown, obviously it was a horrendous time and there was awful things going on, but good things have come out of it. It forced us all to look within ourselves and do things differently and so on and so forth. And you know, we came out with a cookery program from lockdown. You guys have come out with a range of amazing organic cheeses from the Lake District. I mean, you know, it's brilliant. Right, I'm going to add in some double cream for richness. Now, if you were particularly health conscious, not the recipe for you. But you don't have to add the cream if you don't want to. But we got visitors, so we thought we'd spoil them. And I had a little bit of cream tucked away in the fridge, so we, you know, waste not, want not. You don't want to use it up and lose it. So, as it's thickening, I'm actually going to add a little bit more liquid to this, but I'm going to add water because I don't need to add more cream. I don't need to add more beer. I'm just going to let it down a little bit and get that sauce cooking out. And what's happening basically is as the flour heats up, it's swelling, and that's what's making the sauce thicker. And it's a standard white sauce, but we've just pulled out the milk and we've added beer. And we're going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce.
the aroma's amazing.
It's got more depth. It's got more about it. So we're going to add in the 2 cheeses from the Trepenna cheese.
Trepenna cheese.
Not the Torpenhow. That's what the Southerners say, isn't it? It's, yeah. It always baffled me because I remember we went to look at a house up there and I was telling them, oh yeah, we're going to Torpenhow. What? No, you're not. It's like, no, we are. No, you're not. You're going to Trepenna. But there are quite a few places, aren't there, around here? Graysoon.
Graysoon, yeah.
Grey Southern. Yeah?
Yeah.
There was some bizarre things out. What, you must have a few.
Oh, we do. We have a few. We've got it's called Mayo House, but we say it's Myra's.
Myra's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you try and spell off something that's not Myra's. That's Maya. My grandma is from the northeast, and she calls it Mayo House, and we call it, but the West Country is Myra's.
Myra's. There you go. Oh, there's Cumbrian dialect's amazing. Some of the words, well, they're not words, they're grunts, aren't they? Some of the words are amazing. So, I've just let it down with that little bit. Now we're starting to get a really nice sauce. Okay, this is where we need to be.
It looks really creamy.
Yeah. And I would always cook more than you need because that would be perfect just to squirrel half a pint away. And pop it into the freezer. It's always good. If you're going to take the time to make something, make a little bit of extra because leftovers are always good. I actually have done cheese toasties with a little bit of cheese sauce in, just to give it that richness and it kind of sticks all the cheese together. So, we'll have a little taste. I don't know where it's at yet. Have a little try, see what you think. Oh yeah, that'll do, won't it?
Yeah.
That'll do.
Kind of the beer, the bitterness. It's lovely.
So it's got lovely colour from using that red cheese. So now we're going to add the cooked pasta in. And can you see this here, Emily? I've not drained it and covered it in water and cooled it down and stopped it. I want to cook this in real time. So the pasta's hot, it's been drained, it's going into the hot sauce. We're going to turn it over. We're going to whack it under the grill so it's all ready. This is a midweek mac and cheese, okay? So it's quick and easy. So in it goes. And what you find is, you'll think, oh no, I've made too much sauce. But then the sauce kind of finds its way into the holes of the mac and the macaroni, and it kind of sucks it all up, and it just sits really nicely. And there is nothing worse than macaroni cheese that's like solid,
dry,
needs to be saucy. Okay? In with our spring onions, okay? Now, I would add Nigella seeds into this as well, but we did on the last recipe, so I'm not going to. I love Nigella seeds. I use them all the time. So just stir in the spring onions. And now we're starting to look like we've nearly got dinner. We're nearly there. Okay, so give that a little tap. That'll do on there. Worcestershire sauce. Are you a Worcestershire sauce kind of girl? Yeah, I am. Cheese and Worcestershire sauce, they're just so good together. Have you had Henderson's? So in Sheffield, they won't eat this. They make Henderson's, and they make a blue and white bottle and a red and white bottle for United and Wednesday. Because, yeah. And I guarantee somebody on this programme now will be posting, oh, you've got to use Hendo's. It's not a Worcestershire sauce, and I defy, what's the difference? You can get this everywhere, but it's delicious. Made out of anchovies.
Is it?
Did you know that?
I didn't know
Yeah. Made out of anchovies. Who knew? So, but the tang is incredible. And then for a bit of crunch, I've got this rye bread, and I thought this is going to be nice. So rather than put it in a food processor and just blitz it up to sort of a crumb and dust, I thought I'd just take some slices and I'd just chop it up into chunks so that it will actually go crispy. Otherwise, I think if you just chucks it all on there, you needn't bother really. And some people will put more cheese on there. Yeah. But I think there's enough on it. I think all we need now is just a nice bit of crispiness. And what I will do is grab some olive oil, because if you don't soak the bread in the olive oil, you end up with like toast on the top of your mac and cheese. Whereas if you put the oil on and then we squeeze it in and then we put it on. Okay? And we'll just spread that out. Is that all right there, Emily? Good. There we go. Now I've preheated the oven. I've got mine on fan and top grill as well. So it's going to grill and it's going to bake at the same time till it's golden and crispy. Okay, here we go. Bubbling cheese.
Yum.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
That is lovely.
I don't know what it is about mac and cheese, but it's just so comforting. And I think by adding the breadcrumbs on the top, I think you're going to get a sort of slightly elevated mac and cheese. Where would you like me to serve it from, Emily?
Anywhere you like.
Okay, before I do, make sure you scan the QR code along the bottom. That will take you to masterclass.co website. That is where all our recipes are. If you want to make this mac and cheese, you need to go to their website to get the recipe. Right. There we go.
Lovely. Thank
You have a little go on that, and I will feed the studio. All right? Because Mark's going to jump on the counter if I don't feed him soon.
Smell the beer and the onion. Wow.
There you go. Emily, are you partaking?
I absolutely am.
Oh, it's lovely. There's sort of sweetness as well.
There you go.
Yum.
Try that. I'll just go straight into the... I like to eat mac and cheese from the pan. My wife and I will put this on the table, we'll have dinner, and then it'd be like, get your fork, come on, we're going in.
I think that's the best mac and cheese I've ever had. That is good.
Oh my God.
It's really good.
Just you need a do not disturb t-shirt, Mark, don't you? A busy man, busy eating.
Oh, so good.
Remember, please make this mac and cheese. It's absolutely delicious. And if you want to get some Trepenna cheese, visit the website. What is it now? You've just put some food in your mouth. I'll ask you a question.
torpenhoutorganic.co.uk.
Brilliant. Go to the website, get this cheese, and make this. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate you joining us. Have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see you on the next episode.